Hello there guys, it's Merce here, welcome back to another product review, and today I'll be doing a review on the Pulsar X2 Crazylight PRX edition. And I've been waiting so long to purchase this mouse, and I'm here to do my review of it. Before we start with the review, per my usual disclaimer, Pulsar did not send this out to me. I purchased the mouse with my own money, so any opinions that I will say during this video is my own honest opinion only. And before we start talking about the mouse, as usual, we will talk about the packaging, but I'll just show you the unboxing video while I talked about the included stuff. The packaging is beautiful, PRX theme all over the place, and I think Pulsar did another banger job of a packaging design on the PRX edition of the X2 Crazylight. The stuff that you get inside is the normal dongle, matching cable, matching 8K dongle receiver, player cards, sticker, and dot skate. And I think the packaging in of itself is beautiful. A matching grip tips would have been nice, but Pulsar never traditionally included that, so I understand. But overall, I'm very happy that the packaging turned out, and you get some goodies that has matching colorway with the mouse, so I think the packaging is beautiful. Now let's talk about the mouse itself. We'll talk about the build, then the shape, then everything else. For the build, the mouse itself is honestly quite solid. The Crazylight variant is 36 grams with the dot skate and 37 with the full pad skate. And coming from the older X2 Mini Random Frank P that I own, this doesn't feel cheaper or brittly built. Like, it's actually quite solid. Pressing the sides here, there's no creaking, no flexing, no popping that is noticeable. And I can actually compare it with my older, not mine, but with an older X2 Bruce Lee. This has the same build quality as the RFP edition. And even comparing the Bruce Lee to the PRX edition, there are basically no build quality difference at all. The mouse still feels incredibly solid despite its weight now, like 36 gram. I expect the build to be less strong as like the old X2. And the old X2, you know, aside from the early batch QC issue, has held up quite well. So I'll say the build quality in terms of just squeezing the mouse and, you know, doing things that you wouldn't do normally in game, it has held up quite well. Now there are very minor side to side play on the main trigger, which is again a huge improvement compared to the older click design on the older X2s. There are very slight pre and slight post travel on the M1 and M2, and these side buttons has pretty minor pre and post travel as well. Now the shape, I wouldn't go I wouldn't go in detail with the shape. This has been the same exact X2 that was released a few years back. It's very suitable for claw and fingertip grip, depends on like your hand size and what shape and what size of the mouse you get. Currently the X2 Crazylight is only on the mini variant, but we'll talk about that later as well. And comparing it to the medium, the mini is suited more for people maximum of 20 centimeter hands. If you try to claw this, if you try to fingertip, you of course can go like slightly larger hands, but I feel like if you're clawing, which I do, I have a 19 by 10.5 centimeter hands. I feel like if you're clawing the Pulsar X2, your max hand size should be 20 centimeters, tip to the palm right here, because any bigger, this mouse will feel too small. If you have larger hand sizes than 20 centimeters, I would definitely recommend the medium size for claw grippers. But if you're a fingertip gripper, of course any size would work. I can fingertip the X2 quite well. So again, I won't go in depth with the shape. I feel like everyone had reviewed the X2, the X2 V2, X2 V3, Crazylight, Superlight, whatever. There's so many variants of the X2, and I'm pretty sure a lot of YouTubers covered it. If this is the first time you're introduced to the X2 shape, get the mini if you're claw gripping and your hand is 20 centimeters or below, and if it's above, I would recommend the medium, which only comes in the PRX Gold edition. I hate that. We'll talk about that later as well. But yeah, the shape, again, it's quite nice. The grip width being as wide as it is while being small really helps with, again, people with bigger hands like mine. I never felt cramped in this grip at all, and the hump just touches my, I don't know what this part is called, but this part of my hand quite well, which is all the stability that I need. If you want something that touches your palm a lot more, this could feel a little bit too small and too flat. Then of course the medium size is the one that you should buy. Now let's talk about the design of the mouse, and I think it's the main factor why people would buy the PRX edition of the Crazylight. Now I think there's so many colorways you can buy from. The default 4, and then you have the SKT-T1 edition. You also have YouTuber collabs, and of course the upcoming PRX Gold edition. It looks so good. I'll just flash some photos for you guys to see, and it looks amazing. It looks so good. But I hate Pulsar for doing this, because I actually just got my PRX edition. VCT Champ was almost going live. They announced a PRX Gold edition, and I'm just sitting there wondering. I'm kind of sad, because as much as I love the very traditional PRX look, the gold edition looks so beautiful with the gold accent and the red pink colorway. But this one is not ugly by any means. It's still a very beautiful mouse and encapsulate the design of PRX very well. So this is the same design as their jersey, and you have very subtle PRX and Pulsar logo and PRX on the side as well. I say subtle because the white feels like they have their opacity turned down, so it doesn't really contrast that much. Like you would expect a white font on a very colorful design will pop, but it's actually quite muted, and I really like the decision to go with that. The pink scroll wheel with the pink side buttons with the pink bottom plate really match the contrast of the color very well. But I think that's where the PRX Gold really shines in terms of making accent pieces that this really missed. But overall, the colorway is really beautiful, and that also means that the coating might have some like changes to it, but personally I couldn't really tell you the difference between this and the standard Crazylight and the X2 V3. But comparing it to the Bruce Lee edition, which is an older collab at this point, well, I wouldn't say collab, but an older version at this point, the grip actually feels much better compared to the Bruce Lee. I was expecting the paint to probably affect the grip or the coating a bit, but honestly it's not horrible. It's actually quite nice. I've never noticed any slippering while playing with this mouse. I sweat a lot, which is an issue with a lot of the mice that I own, but the coating feels really good. It's quite dry feeling, not really that chalky, but yeah, again, I cannot compare this to the classic Crazylight, but comparing it to the Bruce Lee, the coating on the PRX feels much better than the Bruce Lee, and my experience with the Random Frank P edition on the old X2 as well. When I reviewed my RFP edition back in the day, that mouse weighs like 57 grams for a mini variant. So the Crazylight variant is 20 grams less than the RFP variant of the X2 that I owned 2 years ago, and it feels so much different. The problem with the X2 that I face is it's just so dense, and that's coming from someone who used 40-gram mice at that time. Now let's talk about the other changes that they did to the Crazylight, and it's the switches and scroll wheel. Now, one complaint that I have on the opticals that they use on the Bruce Lee and of course the X2 V2 and the V3, I think V3 uses both, sorry, X2 V2 and the Bruce Lee edition, is they're using ratio opticals, and this feels horrible. I really don't know how to say it, but compared to mechanicals, it's just not even close, and compared to other opticals in its like competitors, it really doesn't feel that good as well. It's very hollow, it's not tactile and not crispy enough for me to really enjoy it, and pressing the click feels like you're really mushing onto something. I really did not enjoy my experience with the opticals used on the Bruce Lee, but the opticals that is used on the Crazylight feels so much better. Apparently it's Pulsar in-house switches, and it reminds me a lot of an Omron opticals, but not as tactiles. This scroll wheel got a huge change as well. So this is using, I'm pretty sure, the TTC Gold, but they have their own Pulsar Blue encoder. Out of all the mice that I've used, I really enjoy the Pulsar Blue encoder. It has that very distinct step that I like, but not too loud like the Logitech scroll wheel, for example. And there are very slight rattling going down, but nothing that's very noteworthy. The scroll wheel itself just feels really good. It's very nice, and the middle click is quite easy to actuate as well, while not triggering accidental scrolling, which I really prefer. The side buttons implementation has been really good as well. There are basically no pre or post travel on them, which is really good, and they feel so clicky and tactile. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but this is the Bruce Lee edition, and this is the Crazylight edition. You can just hear how much more tactile this mouse is compared to the mushier side buttons on the Bruce Lee. It's not horrible, but this is just way better in my opinion. Now, the other change that they made is the sensor. So instead of using a 3395 or 3950, we have a Pulsar in-house XS1 sensor. But from my research and from the tech specs that I saw, it's basically a modified 3950. And honestly speaking, there isn't really anything spectacular to say about it. It's cool that they're using their own sensor, their own switches, their own encoder. I really support that. But at the same time, as a consumer, again, I paid for this mouse, I couldn't tell the performance difference between the X2 compared to other very well implemented 3950. So I think the sensor here performs great. So I spent most of my time on the X2 on 4K Hz, so I don't go 8K or below, and my performance again has been pretty smooth. No jittery, no lag input that I can feel in game, and latency again, same thing, lag input. It feels really good. I wouldn't complain, and I also wouldn't upgrade to the Crazylight if sensor is your priority. If you think that going XS1 will make your performance better compared to the 3395 equipped X2s, I wouldn't do that jump. I feel like there's much more to the Crazylight than the sensor. The build quality, the weight, decoding, and of course, the beautiful PRX paint job. And again, wireless performance, the dongle itself has no issues at all. It's always in front of my mouse pad, and yeah, it's been working great. I really don't have anything else like good or bad to say about this sensor. It's an amazing sensor and it just performs well, and I feel like sensor talk in the big 2025 is really not a big deal as long as you get from a reputable company. Next, this one they didn't change much, and it's the skate. If you notice, it's a different color. Well, we'll talk about it later, but the stock skates on the Pulsar X2 Crazylight is not great, and I feel like we're in the big 25 where Pulsar has really reached the price point where it's no longer like the cheap entry level mouse that you can buy. So the stock skates being not as good as they are is quite a bit of a disappointment. It scratches, it doesn't feel that good, the texture on the pad really doesn't transfer well to the mouse at all. But yeah, they have the speed right. So I did swap mine to the Silver Fox skates, which is better. I'll try to show you some sound tests of the scraping because I no longer have the stock skates, and the speed test as well. But yeah, stock skates is something that I wish Pulsar put more work into it. They are the type of company that should have better stock skates. They're like the Lamzu equivalent as well, which Lamzu has a better stock skates than Pulsar in my honest opinion. So I feel like Pulsar should go back to the lab and produce their better in-house stock skates, so people that pay this kind of money don't have to change their skates. But who am I to say? Logitech does the same thing, so like it is what it is. I've played again on 4K Hz most of the time, and it only lasts me about 2 days. So if you play on 8K, expect it for it to be a day or less, and if you play on 1K, you can probably get a week more. So depending on your polling rate, you will get higher or lower battery, of course, but on 4K Hz, I only get about 2 days worth of battery life. And I think that's about it. Pulsar again released a banger of a collab. Their RFP edition never missed back in the day that I bought it. They're super clear and all, but the PRX edition looks super good. I'm still pissed at the PRX Gold edition. Like, I need that now. You know, and regarding the size thingy, Pulsar Crazylight has always been in the mini size ever since its first release back in 7 months ago. And if you're the type of person who play better on the medium version, or like I said, people with larger hands should get the medium for claw grip, the PRX Gold edition will actually release the X2 Crazylight Medium instead of the mini. So if you ever wanted an X2 Crazylight Medium, the PRX Gold edition is your earliest entry to that shape with this weight class. I'm pretty sure Pulsar will release a standard edition of the X2 Medium coming soon, but I'm probably gonna get the X2 Medium Crazylight in the PRX Gold edition, just so that I can cope having a different mouse when, you know, I already have a medium edition. I'm very upset about the PRX Gold. I really like that design, but the standard PRX still looks incredibly beautiful. So if you have any question about the mouse that I did not say during this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can, as fast as I can. If you have anything you want to talk to me about the X2 or any other mouse, again, leave a comment as well. If you like this video, and if you find this video helpful, leave a like. If you don't, if you hate this video because of PRX or something, hate watch, I still love that. Give me a dislike. It helps me out a lot. And if you enjoy this content and if you like what I do, a subscribe would be very helpful, and I will appreciate you truly just as much as I appreciate the PRX mouse. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.